I'm here with my grandfather, Bert Taylor, and I'm going to talk to him about a few things that from history. Starting with John F. Kennedy in 1961 when he became president. Do you remember that election?
Yes, it was a very, I could say, a controversial election. Everybody seemed, especially young people. I was in high school then, and everybody was talking about it, you know, and everybody was, are you for Kennedy or are you for Nixon? And they had the debates on TV, and it was the first time that had ever been done. So yeah, I remember it fairly clearly.
Did you vote in that election, or?
No.
You didn't?
I wasn't old enough to vote.
All right. So when he became president, obviously people liked him because he was different and young.
Yeah.
And so when he was assassinated in 1963, do you remember watching it on TV? And
I was at the Alpha Gamma Rho fraternity in Orono, and I remember seeing the whole thing.
how did you feel about it?
It was just it wasn't like I was personally involved with him,
Right.
but in fact, just previous to that, he had come to the University of Maine. It was on a, I think it was at the football field. In fact, my high school sweetheart, Barbara, came up that weekend. It was, I think, the only time she ever came up. And he came in on a helicopter, made a little speech, and got in his helicopter and left. But, it was just like nothing like that any of us had ever seen before.
Right.
Everybody was just glued to the TV. Screen run off. Is that nothing?
It's fine.
Okay. Everybody was just couldn't hardly believe it happened. It was something that nobody in that generation had ever seen before.
Right. So on the topic of assassinations, in 1968, Bobby Kennedy, which was John F. Kennedy's brother, and Martin Luther King were both assassinated that year. That was a major. Do you just remember those assassinations?
Yep.
They were on.
It was all on TV just like before. I mean, and it was only like 4 or 5 years after it all happened, like at once almost,
Right.
Yes, I remember it very clearly, both of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in 1968, when Richard Nixon became president, how did you feel about him?
I had been brought up a Republican, okay? So it was probably, I felt good about Nixon, and probably I voted for him. I probably did. I was voting then. I don't specifically remember it, but I expect that I voted for him. Nixon, I don't think Nixon was as bad a president as everybody, they blame they want to blame the Vietnam War on Nixon, but Kennedy was president when the war started.
Right.
And Nixon was the president when it ended.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think he was as bad as everybody made
Just
him out to
the
be.
one.
He made some stupid mistakes, about lying about some things, but I don't think he was as bad as they make him out.
Right. So to talk about the advanced technology of our country, in 1969, Neil Armstrong went to the moon.
Yep, I remember seeing pictures of the guy on the moon.
So was it exciting to watch it on TV? And
Yeah, here again, it was something that nothing like that ever happened before, and everybody was glued to the television looking at it. Most of us, our televisions weren't as good then. You get snowy pictures and things like that. Didn't have HD and all that.
Yeah. So moving on to 2001, a major event in American history, 9/11. It's a tragic thing that happened to our country. Do you remember what?
Oh yeah, I mean, We were I remember I was in a tractor riding up down the road. I was spreading manure up the road there, and hearing all about, that the Twin Towers had been hit, and by a plane, and then the Pentagon got hit by a plane. Here again, it was hard to believe that that could have happened, and that's why we have all the safeguards now, airport security, and all those things, because they just let those guys come in. They let them come and learn to fly planes. They learned here, and it was, a tragic time, obviously.
Right. In 2008, Barack Obama became president of the United States, and it was a big thing for our country because he's
first black president. Yeah.
Right. How did you feel about Barack Obama?
I think Barack Obama, we won't know for another few years really what he's done. It takes time to see what.
And he got thrown into a bad situation.
Yeah, and he kind of got elected because he was the first black, in a sense, and he didn't have a lot of experience in politics and things. But I can't say that he's done anything wrong. All I can say is time will tell.
Yep. Well, thank you for your time, Grandpa.
Okay.